The font is just like a typography that you want to use inside your website. Understand? We have different font style. If you go to, there's a font that you call Google Fonts. It has a lot of font that if you want, you can use. Google Font, understand? So here, there are a lot of different font names that you can use. You understand? So here you can search for the font, right? There are a lot of font that we normally use. Look at here. Look at the name. We have what? Roboto. It is a font. Roboto is a font. We have what? This. Right? Open Sans. We have what? SN Pro. Google Sans. Noto Sans Japan. Japanese. So Japanese font. We can even search for maybe, let's say, Arabic fonts. Maybe something like that. Look at Arabic fonts. You see some of the Arabic. We have Rubik. It's also a font for Arabic. If your website is what Arabic website, you can use this font, right? So also search for Cairo, right? Kahiri is another font. You can see all websites having different font. Ruhudu is a font, right? Tajawad also a font. Al-Marai or Marai also another font. So all of them, you can even search for any font here and then it can give you a font that it has. If there's no font, then you don't have the font. But if it has, you can see it here. Now, most of the time, a lot of people use Roboto, this Roboto font, this Roboto font. It's what it look nice and good for screen readers and users. Understand? Or people use like nowadays people don't use people use also poppins. We also have what we call poppins. Poppins, you see, poppins. They are mostly used. I understand. It's also another font that people use it. Poppins. I understand. So how can you use this font if you want to use it? How can you use the font if you want to use it? There are two ways that you can use, or we can say multiple ways to use the font. For instance, this test like we are using a normal font or a default font. Understand? But what about if you want to use a specific font for your website, right? So how to use it is like here. You can search for any font online. For instance, we want to use a font like maybe let's say we are going to use Poppins. Let's say I'm going to go to the search, and then if I already know the font that I want to use, I can type here and say I want to use Poppins. I'll select it here. Then now I'm on font of Poppins, right? Then I'll see get font here. Get font. Then now it is what? It show me the font. Now these are the fonts. These are the font that it showed me. Poppins, static, or roboto. But me, I'm talking about Poppins, right? So because I already selected the Poppins, Roboto, it gave me two of them. So I have to remove one and leave the one I want. So one font family selected. So I have one font, which is Poppins, right? So here there are two steps. You can download this and use it as like a file inside your project. And or if you just want to use the link, you can use what? Get embedded link, a code. Just click here, and then it gives you and tells you how can you use it. And so here you can change the style of the font. Either you want to take 100, medium 500, or this. So it has different up to what? 10 or more, 18 style of this. It has a thin 500, which is medium. You understand? So all these are talking about the thickness of the font, the size, the lightness. But if you want to use the general one, these are, you can use them. You see here, see font, Google, and they give you what? CSS, family, Poppins, meaning you are using what? Font as what? Poppins. And the weight is from what? 100, 200, 300, 400. It means that up to you are all copying all the what, the thickness, the lightness, all of them you are copying. So when you are using it inside the website, even if you write thickness of the font to be 900, because you are using all these things, it will what? Know that you are using what? Let's say this 700, 800, or 900. You understand? So how to use it? You have two ways here to use it. You can use it as a link or use it as an import. You understand? So here it's giving you an example how to use it. You see how we use it here. Look at. So it already gives you a CSS to use. So for instance, if you target any element or any class, you can apply all this like font family Poppins. And then font width 100. Font style normal. You understand? So when you write all this, it look at it's already connected with this. So it knows what you want because you said Poppins, which is font family, and you said the what? The weight you want 100. So it look at the weight which is 100. And the style you want it normal. You understand? So mostly what we normally do is we either use this or we use this as an import. This one is used inside your HTML document. And this one is used inside your CSS sheets. You understand? So here, if I want to use it inside my HTML document, I'll just use the link, this one, and copy this. You see, they say copy code. So I can click here and copy. When I copy, I go back to my website because I'm using it inside HTML document. I go below the title and then I put it. So here it is inside the head. That's why here it tells you that um, embed code in the head of your HTML. You see, embed code in the head of your HTML. So when I come here and say, where is my head? Here is my head. So I can put it here. Go here is the head which is open, and the head here which is closed. So inside my head, I can put it anywhere. So I put it here. So I copied and I put it here. So now I have all this code, all this code from here to here is from my font. This is my font now. You understand? So I'm using, so wherever I go and I type, I want the font family to be Poppins because I copied this from that Google font. It allowed me to use this font. You understand? So now if I come inside my CSS and say, I want the H1, this H1, this. I want to have a font, when I see font family, then I see Poppins, right? I see Poppins. Then you see that look at how it changes. It changes.
Yeah, I see.
Oh, so now here, look at here. If for instance, if I delete these Poppins here, you see, look at the test, how it was. It was like this. When I add Poppins, look at how it changes. So the style of the font changed to Poppins like this, similar to this. Understand? Similar to how look at this, how it is written here. Understand? It look at the shape. Because font, all the font are the same. I'm looking at the shape. That's what we call it font. How it is. You see that it's what it turns what Poppins. Otherwise something like sans serif. You add like something like sans serif. Although the font family that you're using is Poppins, but you add something like sans serif. Sans serif is an alternative form of font that you are using. So for instance, if in any way this font is not working, then it goes back to what this font. And so this one is a backup. This font is a backup. But the main font that you're using is this Poppins. So that's why normally you see people adding this as well at the backup. So look at the test. If I went to the P and add the same thing, I said for the P, I want also the font family to also be the same Poppins. Poppins, you see that it also changes the test. Look at how it changes. Because I'm using this font family. Look at now, it changes to this font. You understand? So that's how we add a font to our website. Through what? Through HTML head. This. Just copy this and paste it here in the head. In the head. Paste it here. And then I'll use the font. We call it font family. I understand. We have also font weight, the weight of the what? I mean like thickness. So if I say font weight and I say I want the font weight to be, if it is lighter, if I said 100 is very light, you'll see how it is light. I can say 200. You see it's becoming thicker. And I say 900, it becomes very, very thicker. You see 900. Or I can just write as a test as what? Bold. Or maybe there's something we call small, right? Or smaller or larger, or lighter. You see it become lighter. You see bolder. You see it's bolder. So bolder normally is like the same as 900. I understand. So that's how we add the font family and the font weights. So you can either add it here or you can either add it inside your CSS. So assuming you have a CSS, let's say we have link. Let's say I'm going to create a CSS file and I say style.css. And then if I want to link that CSS, I can just say link. And then now this is CSS, which is linking to this, right? So now if I want to apply here, I can also go here. Instead of using this as a head, I can delete this link that I added. You see when I deleted it, it changes, it go back to what the normal list font. So when I deleted this, I can add the same thing here. Can go to here, import, and then here you see it is saying style. So I can copy that thing which is inside the star from here to here. I can copy it, right? And then go back to my web CSS and then put it at the top. You understand? Put it at the top, right? So now whatever I added here is going to affect my distance. I see it. So now if I can cut this and go back here and say I want to put it here, you see that it is affected here. My font family is now Poppins. I hope you understand now. You see that it is what at import URL going to what from what font, which is Google API.com, and then look at the CSS font family, which is Poppins. Then it gives you all the what font weights. You see 100, 200, 300, up to what it going like this 900. You see all of them. So this is how we can add the font family or the font that we want to use. Either we add it in the header inside this header, or we can just add it inside this what CSS style. So that is the two steps to do that. And then other way you can even use, if you are using an Android, you are a developer of an Android, they also have their way that they can use. If iOS, and if they are using Flutter, they also have the way they use. But ours is website, web design. So this is where what we have two options, the header and that of the CSS. I understand. But if you want to use just one single style, you can untick or untick or because this one is telling you you can use each of them. The light trended italic, you can use all of them. But if you don't want to use some specific some of these thickness, you can just delete them. So if I delete them, you see that here it is what removing some of them. You see, it is removing some of them. So for instance, if I don't want 200 italic, it goes and look at which one is 200 italic. Then when I click, it will remove it from. You see, it is removing some of them that I don't want. I understand. You see, it's removing them. Sometimes we just leave it because we don't know, maybe later we might need it. Because since it doesn't add any way to our website, maybe in the later time we might need to have a pin of maybe let's say 100 or what 100 italic. So we just leave it as it is and then use it inside our website. So that is normally how we add the font family inside our website. So there's no much thing to talk about here. Now, if you want to read a lot of them, you can read it from here. You see, look at the same thing, font family. Here they are using Time New Roman. The backup is what this. These are the backups. You can add 3 or 4 of them. The first one that you add is the main one, and if those are not working, it will go back to what the other ones. Understand? So that's how we normally add fonts. We see the difference between the serif and the sans serif font. So you see how they are. This sans serif, look at the edges. It's very smooth. But when you come to the serif, look at the edge now. So this is how we look at the font. So some might say that he want to use this kind of style. He can use the serif. Rather the font are just mostly looking at the style of this, the shape, how it is written. So when you look at Arabic word is also a different font on itself, because of how it is written, right? So you see, this is Arial, Verdana, Helvetica. They are all like this. So serif with the font family. So all the font family, example of the serif font family are this. So when someone, when you are designing a website, and when someone tells you that he wants this type of font, or you can tell that use a generic font family. You understand? Like maybe serif. You tell you use a serif font family. You understand? And he can give you the names, maybe Times New Roman, Georgia, Garamond. You understand? All of them, or sans serif. You see all this type. Some of them, like if you are having a certificate, some of the font family I use. Look at all this cursive. You see. You see. So that's mostly how it is used. So I don't want to bother you with a lot of stuff, but all of these are just the same thing. I don't just explaining a lot of font, how it is work, how those font are important. You see some of them. At the end of the day, it's going to talk about font family. So um, we can read them and then know how and have a knowledge about those. But for as a web designer, sometimes we don't really dive deep into all of this, except that you are doing something specific for or targeting mainly, you are target is font. Understand? And all this is the lorem that we talked about last time. The font fallback. So this is a font fallback. As I told you, if you are using a Poppins and then you want a backup, so we call it font fallback. So these are just a backup you can use. You understand? So maybe the original font is there, but this one will save you as what? As a backup. And this. Understand? So just a font. You see this one, look at how it is. This is the font family. Look at this is so long. See the style. We also have font style. Font style, you have normal, italic, oblique. This one you already know it because I taught it the last time inside the HTML, right? Because inside HTML we talk about what? Italic, right? You talk about italic.
Yeah.
This italic. This is the same thing. Here too, you also have the CSS of it. We call it font style. You can add, look at it as here, you see. The font style is normal, this normal, and this one italic. You see how it is. So here, even if you don't want to use this CSS, you can just go to HTML and say, give me now, and just use italic elements. And you don't have to use the CSS. So these are the same thing. The font weight, as I told you, we have what? The boldness of it. So normal, we have bold, we have that to what? To 900. Understand? So now it's saying that 400 is just the same as normal. So this 400 is just the same as normal. So 700 is same as bold. It means that bolder will be 900. Understand? So font width here is see bolder. So if I click here, I want to look at this, you see. Understand? And this is how it looks. The CSS font variant, so variant normal, whether or not the text should be displayed in a small caps font. So look at it, doesn't change anything like this. You see the second word letter will be like this. Name, look at this, it changes. Look at how it just changes some of the word or some of the letters to a different style. You see small caps, like this becomes small caps. Although it's a capital letter, but it's becoming small caps. Understand? So sometimes you see a letter or a design, for instance, here you see that maybe this letter will be very bigger. Understand? Some of the text, this one, only the T will be very bigger and the rest will be smaller. So these are all part of that caps, font caps that they are talking about. Mm. Let's move font size. Font size, you already know font size, right? You already know the font size. These are also Google font. As I told you, you see what I did before. You copy the link and inside the header, you see the font. Google here, they are using what? The font family of Sophia or Sophia. We look at the using Sophia and the backup is sans serif. Here is using what? The font family of what? Sophia. And the Sophia is like this. It's the Sophia font. When I click, look at how it. So if you want to have your text to look something like this, you go and use what? Sophia font family. You look at it, how each numbers look like. So as a designer, you have a lot of options to. Now, if you want your thing to be very simple, you can just use a simple font that a lot of people have been using. And as I told you, maybe you can use Poppins or you can use Roboto. So, so look at this one. This one is audio wide. How this is how it is audio wide. Look at 8 numbers. Mm, so all of these are the same thing that we can just use. Like when you look at how this one is, they even added a lot of Sophia, but they added some different one, box shadow or text shadow. Look at how they added text shadow to it. Look at how you see. I understand. Uh, sometimes it's not all about this, it's not difficult. Understand. So I don't think you have to spend a lot of time with the shorthand. You can just write font and you can add all these things. Font style, variant, font weight, font stretch, font size, line height, and then font family. Understand? So the thing you can just write font instead of writing font style or font or family, whatever. You can just write font and you specify what this one is what the thickness or what the style, right? Then the area, variant, weight, all of them. You can just follow how these are arranged and you can just add it. Look at italic, small caps, bold, 15 pixels. Understand? Georgia, meaning the font family, and the backup is safe. Understand? So all these you just apply it. It's easy for you to apply. Understand? So I don't want to just put a lot of pressure on you. Just find time. These are just two things. Test, look at the test as we did, and look at the font. Just read them because I've already explained the important places. So you read them and then understand a lot of some of them too again. Understand? Okay, so I think we can call it a day, and then maybe we when we meet on Friday, and we can talk about I think the display property. Okay.
Okay.
But these are not something that you should worry about. Just read them. A lot of time when you're doing something like for the font, we don't do a lot of things with it. Just we're always looking at the design and so and then um, we are good to go. Right? If you continue doing the practice, applying it, seeing how the changes. So this web design or this thing is just needs you to keep on practicing, doing it continuously, repeating it. That's why they say practice makes a man perfect. There's do a lot of practice because there are a lot of information online that you cannot read all, you cannot understand all. It's just by practice that you come across and understand them even better. But if you just wait for someone to explain and then that is all, you don't apply it, it's not going to work. We always have to practice. So I think I'll see you on Friday, right?
Okay.
Okay, then have a nice day and then we can see each other again on Friday.
Okay.
Okay,
Inshallah. Bye.
bye bye.